Connor Zilisch has surgery for his broken collarbone, what it means for his return to action, plus set your alarms, it's Heim time, as where does Corey Heim end up for 2026? Welcome back to the Breaking Bob channel. Hope y'all are doing well on this Tuesday night. As always, a lot of news and NASCAR stuff to get into. Not going to talk about the next gen car issues, not going to talk about Kyle Petty's comments. No, we're going to stick to other stuff, but as always, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing for NASCAR news and content on a daily basis through the Breaking Bob channel. I'm doing my best to paint a rosy picture. It's been a rough few weeks in the NASCAR world. Negativity is running amok, but we're going to talk about some things as Connor Zilisch, even in the darkness of his fall, celebrating his win at Watkins Glen, breaking his collarbone on door bumper clear yesterday. Kid's just got charisma. He is really, really fun to listen to. You could just see him trying to laugh off a serious moment there. Of course, his first thoughts when he was on the stretcher after the race there. It was nice to see him, first of all, in public, laughing it off and still talking about his potential return to not Cup Series action. That's going to be announced later, I'm sure. But Xfinity action, as he's in the middle of a regular season title right now, even with this broken collarbone. But an update on his health as he had surgery today on this Tuesday. Connor Zilisch had surgery, posted to Twitter or X, quote, wanted to give everyone a quick update. Had surgery on my collarbone this morning to get a plate and screws to help with the healing process. Been a tough few days for me mentally, but all the love you guys have shown has certainly helped. Thank you. So for Connor Zilisch, now it's the road to recovery as he's trying to fight for an Xfinity title. He's already missed one race this year after the Talladega race, had to miss for a concussion. Of course, Kyle Larson won at Texas the next week in that Junior Motorsports 88, but right now Connor Zilisch is still 7 points ahead of Junior Motorsports teammate Justin Allgaier for the Xfinity season regular season title, even after missing a race. So there's definitely going to be, I think, a push for Connor Zilisch and his competitive nature to get into the car next weekend at Daytona in the regular season finale. But also considering the fact that it's Daytona, I'm sure NASCAR would grant him a playoff waiver for health once again. Junior Motorsports may not be as gung-ho to throw their young prospect, and their Trackhouse Racing may not be as excited to throw Connor Zilisch into Daytona, where especially the last few years, the Xfinity cars have crashed very, very hard there. So, Connor Zilisch also had that injury at Talladega at a drafting-style track just a few months ago. I see both sides to it for sure. But let me know your thoughts down below about Connor Zilisch's return. Do you think he'll be racing at Daytona in a few weeks, or do you think Junior Motorsports and Trackhouse will play it safe? Let's talk about some silly season stuff, because NASCAR in the Cup Series world, silly season has been virtually quiet. Of course, the Daniel Suarez stuff with Trackhouse, that's obviously pretty set and dry. It's going to be Connor Zilisch in that 99 next year, especially with Shane Van Gisbergen signing his extension this weekend. After winning race number 4, mind you. There's not a lot to talk about in the Cup Series world. There is one opening we'll talk about here in just a few, or a potential opening, but let's look at the Truck Series, because silly season has been running amok in the Truck Series world, especially the last few weeks. Last week, Nice Motorsports cut Hayden Cunningham from the 44 team. Just weeks before the playoff starts, they were in the playoffs. Now, Connor Zilisch was in that ride for this weekend at Watkins Glen, didn't finish in the top 5, finished in the top 10. They put him in there trying to get into the owners' playoffs, and instead not to be. But another update in the Truck Series silly season that seems like it's just taking a page from last year's Cup book is it's Spire Motorsports, as they, of course, took over for Kyle Busch Motorsports just a few years ago in 2024 after buying it in 2023. Spire Motorsports now downsizing a truck as of now through the end of the season. And with that, you're going to have to see one driver leave. Rookie Andres Perez de Lara is the odd man out in that 77 truck. He has been released effective immediately through Spire Motorsports. Another mid-season driver change. You don't see that a lot of times now in NASCAR as well, with the Truck Series now back-to-back with semi-competitive rides, mind you, as well. Now, Perez is 20 years old, 2 top 10s this year. He's 3rd in the rookie standings. Hasn't been great in the equipment that Spire has brought, but Spire is not the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks that they inherited when they took over that operation as well. So keep that in mind. But, not the greatest start for the 20-year-old, but has already found a landing spot in the truck we talked about just a few seconds ago that let go Caden Honeycutt. Now it'll be Andres Perez de Lara in the Nice Motorsports 44 entry. So there you go. Just playing a little bit of musical chairs here, but everything is starting to fall into place. But of course, Spire Motorsports downsizing. They're cutting the 07. It's been kind of their open entry truck. They've been putting different drivers in week and week out. The 07 will be no more as of right now. And Corey LaJoie will take over as the driver of the 77 for Spire. Corey LaJoie, of course, raced a couple of races. I think Atlanta was his first race back in the truck series. He's going to be racing full-time for the end of the season, at least for Spire Motorsports in that 77. Makes sense on both of their parties. I think we talked about that in a video a couple of weeks ago when that news was announced. Makes sense for both sides there. But for Spire Motorsports in the 07 truck, it's an open entry. You can't have Cup Series drivers come in during the playoffs and race those. So I guess the offerings were slim there as to who they could have, and it made sense just to downsize. And rumors have been swirling the last couple of weeks as well that they would be downsizing their truck series, maybe completely, and moving toward the Xfinity side, although it seems like right now that is not the case. But definitely something to that with the Spire Motorsports truck series downsizing at least one team through the end of the season down to a 3-truck entry. And with Nice Motorsports letting Caden Honeycutt go last week, he found a ride with the Stuart Friesen, now 52 truck. But it sounds like through door bumper clear, and it's been rumored already last week that he will be heading to Tricon Garage. He'll be racing as one of the Tricon Toyota trucks. So Caden Honeycutt moving to the Toyota family. But with that, sounds like Corey Heim, who has been dominant the last couple of years in that 11 truck, the championship favorite this year, could be on his way out of Tricon. Now, with that, where would he end up? Because, of course, under a developmental deal with 2311, there's no room. Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Riley Herbst has a grip on that third charter because of a financial side, it sounds like. So, no room through his actual team. Joe Gibbs Racing is not going to let him run on the Xfinity side because of whatever closed-door beef the Gibbs family has with Corey Heim. I know Heim doesn't bring a ton of sponsorship, but the results speak for themselves. So where does Corey Heim end up? Well, it sounds like there's two options right now. One is, of course, staying in the Toyota side, racing on that Sam Hunt Racing Xfinity number 26 ride. Now, not the most competitive ride we've seen Heim in at multiple times this year, but in the Xfinity series, at least getting another opportunity, different experience in a different car. Not the worst thing at all. And part-time in the Cup Series with 2311, then different entries. You've seen him in multiple entries this year. Of course, didn't qualify for the Chicago race as well, but potentially that would be his 2026 plan. The other option, though, that has been floated out there, and there's been a lot of talk about this recently, is could Corey Heim be in the Spire number 7, where Justin Haley is currently right now? Now, what a difference a year makes. This time last year, we were talking about Justin Haley being the hot name to replace Alex Bowman in the early who's going to be in the 48 category. But now, Justin Haley on the hot seat after, of course, that team was just switching through cycles of different members, whether it's crew chiefs, spotters, everything on that pit crew on the 7 team the first couple months of the year. A lot of changing. But Justin Haley, the results haven't been there right now. It's been disappointing. But that being said, could we see potentially Corey Heim in the 7? Now, that would mean either one or two options. They're loaning him out to the 7, but I don't see that really with Toyota loaning out one of their star drivers to another OEM in the Cup Series. I don't really see that, but maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that as the likely possibility. So would 2311 potentially lose? Toyota potentially lose their star prospect to Spire Motorsports, a team that has, of course, been throwing around cash heavily the last couple of years in the NASCAR Cup Series. This would almost be the biggest statement potentially, would be getting Corey Heim from Toyota. Now, is that going to happen? It's yet to be seen, but there's a lot of talk about it. And when there's smoke, there's fire, I'd love to say on this channel, because follow the breadcrumbs. A lot of these rumors end up becoming real, or at least very, very close to happening, because this is being talked about. Now, Corey Heim wants to get in the Cup Series. The dominance in the Truck Series has been stated in multiple videos on this channel. But the room in 2311 is not there. At least through 2026. 2027 would be the earliest he could get up there. But you also have to look at 2311 with their charter stuff right now, with the lawsuit in NASCAR. who knows if 2311 will even be racing in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2027. So for Corey Heim, maybe you do take this opportunity at Spire. Definitely something to consider. Sounds like those are right now the two most likely candidates for Corey Heim's 2026 campaign. I'm interested to see if anything else potentially happens, if there's other opportunities, or right now, these are kind of what we're down to. But one of the most intriguing and talented NASCAR prospects in the last few years, Corey Heim, still undecided on his future right now in August right now. So something to note. Let me know your thoughts down below where you think Corey Heim ends up in 2026 and beyond. Make sure to like this video if you like what you saw. Subscribe to the Breaking Bob channel for more NASCAR content. As always, it helps me out a ton. Norman is over there in the corner staring at me. Doesn't want to get on camera, I guess. You'll have to wait till the next video, I guess, to see if he's a little bit more camera ready. But as always, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I'll see you next time.